Hey guys, welcome to this Waffenträger auf PZ4 replay for Malinovka. Spoiler alert, camping happens in this replay. So looking at the team list, not very good player. There's a lot of bad players on the enemy team. We've got a 63% chance to win. The majority of their team is tier 9, a few tier 10s and tier 8 light tanks. So I am going to take this camp wagon up to C5, that little hill bit there, which lets you shoot anyone that gets a bit too, that puts themselves a bit too much in the open up on the hill. It lets you shoot into the field. It lets you shoot anything that's going up the hill. It's a very popular spot and a very good one too. Especially I got a camo net on this tank, so. The only real counter to that position is if they come too far down the hill, they get close, or these light tanks here. Light tanks or medium tanks, they get into like D6, they can spot you up here.
First blood.
I'm going to reverse too. This is how you play the Waffenträger PZ4. You need to reverse or be firing off your broadside because I think because your gun depression off your front is only 2 degrees. If I'm right, the gun depression off your sides and rear is 6 degrees, which is the case for actually a lot of German tanks. But this one has a rear mounted turret. It's also useful for poking too. Like if you're poking on a corner, you should always poke rear first because your turret's at the rear. Obviously, you can't side scrape. I'm actually going to turn the lights. There we go. Headlight mod off for this one. So right now I'm positioned between 2 bushes. I've got my camo net going, and I'm just waiting for targets. First customer is Mr. M103 is exposing himself way too much. He's too close to the side of the hill, so I get a very high roll of 650 into his side turret there. I thought maybe I could get another one into his turret. This gun is actually very accurate, but surprisingly inconsistent. It's .33 with very high dispersion, so you need to be fully aimed when you fire, but even when you're fully aimed, this gun's surprisingly inconsistent. But that was a very small shot there, held in the M103 side turret. And I got nothing else to fire at, so as well. The light tank lights up. And he disappears. Stop camping. That one was aimed at the IS-4's lower plate because there actually is a high chance of me bouncing his upper plate from that the way he's angled. So it goes up to his turret and bounces. Another light tank appears and disappears. It's cute that both of those light tanks there. Actually, you can see in this you can see in the stats thing on the enemy team just how bad their light tanks are, with the fact that they're camping. And 2 disappeared at the same time. That's the T-Phrase exposing himself to fire down. Enemy is hit. Side target 3, miss. This IS-4 is going full yellow because I guess 600 WN8, I don't know. Very small shot on his side there. It missed. I think because he got tracked about the same time I fired. Waiting for this 183 to expose himself, and he does. Very nice 600 roll. He's still exposed. Can I reload in time? Yep, dead. 50B. Is he gonna expose himself? Yes, he does.
Enemy armor is hit.
He goes back behind cover. But now the IS-4 is getting himself into a very weak position. I can actually see his side turret here. And this gun has good penetration and good accuracy.
Enemy is hit.
So I just go to town on his side turret. That's 1, 2.
Enemy armor is hit.
Dead. And the only 2 tanks left now are their Unicum T-54 and that 50B, who is terrible. Shot to here. No. See what I mean? Inconsistency. I aimed dead center on that MX-50B when I had his side, and it just missed.
Penetration.
But that one went through his rear turret, I think. And this is where the real camping happens. As you can see, that T-54, Unicum T-54, quite rightly. I mean, I would do the same thing in his position. He decides to. He's got good hit points, and he's got his WN8 numbers to think about, I suppose. So quite rightly, what he does is he camps the crap out of that hill, and. Well, I'm not going to go after him because I'm a Waffle PZ4. That'd be silly. The Centurion 7-1 is low health, and the only other 2 players we've got are this Jag Tiger and E100, which are incredibly slow. So I decided to stay here and wait for him to come down. I thought there's no point in chasing him up there because he will take me out 1v1. Even especially if I'm going up the hill and he's up there, he can just come down and ram me for about 500 damage. And I know what Unicums like to do when they're in this position. They like to just sit there and pick up as much damage as they can before they go down. And I'd rather deny him as much damage as possible. Or also hopefully picking some off him. My hope is that the E100 and Jag Tiger are going to come up the hill from the south side, and that the 54 is eventually going to be forced to run my way, and then I can pick up some damage off of him. Let me know as well. Normally when I'm in the game, it's actually kind of the headlight mod is actually kind of bugged. Like the way it works is that the headlights are actually still on, but the lighting effects and the shadows are on as well. Is how I usually play with this mod, but for the replays it's one or the other, so it's either lighting effects off and headlights on. You get 2 headlights on the front of each tank and 1 on the gun, or lights off, lighting effects on. So let me know which you prefer. For the replays anyway. Spot the 54.
Ricochet.
And I bounce off his side because he's wriggling all over the place.
Crack hit.
He's firing high explosive, which is the correct thing to do, but it actually doesn't work out for him here. His first one doesn't actually penetrate,
Enemy is hit.
and only does 100 damage. I go for his front.
The gun's been damaged. We've lost accuracy.
That one, that high explosive penetrated. The high explosive one didn't. And he's dead. So yeah, you see this basically just on that T-54 there. I honestly, like, I will fire high explosive at Waffle and E100s, but I don't actually fire high explosive at Waffen PC4s or Roombas. Although I suppose you maybe should. I don't, because if just as you saw there from that T-34, it was inconsistent. His first one failed to penetrate and only did 100 damage, when he could have done 320 or similar. His second one went through, which I suppose fine. It damaged my gun, it got my commander. I just healed both instantly. And then the third one failed to penetrate and also did whopping 100 damage, and the fourth one missed. Like honestly, I would just fire AP at just standard AP at a Waffen PC4, because your high explosive won't go through the tracks, and the penetrating the hull is actually fairly inconsistent. It's depending on the Waffen PC4 with high explosive, you need to hit those guard bits on either side of the gun, and they're a small target. Unless you're fully aimed in a good accurate tank, you're not going to hit them. You're better off just aiming center mass with AP. Anyway, that was that match there. Yeah, very strong position there. C5 is a great place to just park up in your tank destroyers and control the majority of the map. Unless you're mostly safe there, unless they get mediums, which occasionally happens. Mediums or something into D6, you often get like a 62A or 140 will run across and to D6 and spot that whole area. Then you're in trouble. And then that position becomes a whole lot more weak. But that's really the only counter to that position there. And I go there with my Waffen PC4, 263, and basically all my tank destroyers except for the Jag. No, I still got the Jag. And the E4. Although the E4 and the Jag Panzer have the option of going up the hill. If they need to, because one's got the turret, one's got the gun, they've both got great armor. They both got decent gun depression. For camp TDs though, like the Waffen PC4, the Roomba, and the Waffenträger 100, that's the position you want to be in. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this replay, and hope it gives you a good guide on where to take your tank destroyers on this map, on Malinovka, it's the north side. And I'll hope you enjoy this replay, and I'll catch you next time.